Well, as usual, I had a choice of topic between Doge tariffs and SpaceX, but I decided, hey, let's try something new. Let's talk about somebody who's pushed the limit of human potential beyond anything that anybody thought was possible. And in this case, we're talking about, wait for it, drumming. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott, and I know this is an unusual topic for us at Right Angle, but every now and then we try to throw in something eclectic just to get off of the grind. Gentlemen, there are very few opportunities that we have to see the kind of a human ability that has surpassed what previous experts in the art have done to a degree where you simply go, this is superhuman. I can't believe it. Now, let me just tell you why I'm interested in drumming. I took several drum lessons back in the mid-'90s, and after many months of dedicated hard work and study and practice on my part, I achieved a level of drumming that I think probably would most fairly be described as remedial.
The big R.
Our friend Alfonso Rachel, on the other hand, is a superb drummer. Yeah. And there's been an ongoing discussion, as with anything in terms of basketball or whatever, who's the GOAT, who's the greatest of all time? Was it Buddy Rich? I'm a Stuart Copeland fan myself, and so on. But about a year ago, I started seeing videos from a drummer. He's a Latin American fellow. His name is Estepario Siberiano, which means the Siberian Steppe, which is a rather evocative name. Yeah. And you tell me if you think that this guy is just a good drummer or whether he has been transported from another planet. We've got 3 clips to show. Steve and Scott haven't seen either one of them. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to sync all this stuff up, and we'll react to 3 of these clips, hopefully pretty much simultaneously. All right, ready? Here we go.
Trey Cool from Green Day gave me his sticks this Saturday, but I promised I would do this in exchange. Let's see how it goes. Sometimes I give myself the dreams.
Cup of coffee with one hand. Crazy. Wow.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wow, that guy's really amazing. Does he just play with one hand, with one stick? No, he actually also plays with 3 sticks.
Why does he have 3 sticks? Oh, that's why.
Holy cow.
That was amazing.
And since we only got a brief look at that, folks, I'm going to just do one more just because I like watching and listening to this guy. This is a little bit more of a close-up of what you just saw. Again, some drummers, most drummers, the great drummers, Buddy Rich and all the rest of them, use 2 sticks. Here he is playing with 3 sticks again. Ready? That is superhuman.
That is remarkable. That is.
And he's just so relaxed.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's in his comfort zone doing things that people can't do.
And the best part of this, of course, is that watching this guy play is often in the company of watching other drummers reacting to him playing, yes. and to see the combination of awe and despair on their faces is something that I feel.
Now, is he in some known band?
No, he is a YouTube phenomenon, and wow. I've seen 7 or 8 drummers reacting to him open mouth, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is not just to show you this guy because he's really cool. Again, it's Estepario Siberiano on YouTube. But I mean, this guy's not exactly what I would call conservative commentary fodder. I mean, more often than not, he's smoking a joint while he's playing. He's drinking coffee. He's just he's a wild man from apparently from South America. But what struck me about this, and the larger issue I want to talk about, let's start with you, Steve. This guy is doing something that I've never seen other drummers do. He has taken human practice and performance to an entirely new level. He is able to do things and make sounds on the drums that have not been possible by the greatest masters of the art. And it makes me realize, like I said, to take this to a larger issue than just drumming, it does make you wonder what human potential is untapped out there, because this guy says, a lot of people look at me, and one time he did one where he was playing with one hand and holding up an iPad with the other that was showing a clock counting down, because people were sure that he was speeding up his videos in order to, to get this. What untapped levels of genius and achievement are there for people who have, without question, natural talent, but who have dedicated their lives to studying for 8 hours a day and practicing, because that's what he does. He practices for 8 hours a day to achieve something that simply looks impossible to experts in the field.
Yeah, one of my favorite drum intros is Van Halen's "Hot for Teacher." It's just it sets the pace for the song, literally. It's just brilliant. But what I didn't realize until just a few years ago is that Alex Van Halen, the drummer, he was unable to play that fast. They had to overdub his own playing in the studio to produce that intro, because, I mean, that thing is... This guy can not only do that, he does it, I think, faster and sharper than Alex Van Halen did while overdubbed on a multi-track. It is remarkable. He's also got that thing you can't teach, which is showmanship. I was lucky enough, when I was 18, 19 years old, I got to see the Buddy Rich Orchestra on board the Admiral on the St. Louis riverfront. The Admiral, if you don't know it, I used to go on cruises on it as a kid when it was still a cruise boat, a river boat. It is this 1920s or 30s stainless steel riverboat. At the time it was built, it had the world's largest floating dance floor. I mean, this thing it's just, there's nothing else like it in the world. Look it up on Wikipedia or Google image search, something like that. You've got to see this boat. It's amazing. But traffic kind of declined. It was too expensive to repair and maintain and all that stuff. So what they did was they moored it permanently on the riverfront and turned it into a casino and a music theater place. They had like 2 theaters built into this place. And in one of them, I got to see Buddy Rich and his orchestra play many, many years ago. And Rich was doing this thing. Rich had his own orchestra. He was the drummer, so of course he sat front and center. He wasn't in back, right? This is his show. He had this one cymbal on his drum kit that he kept acting like he was about to hit, and he just wouldn't. And he kept doing that until the audience is just primed, waiting for him to finally hit this. And towards the end of the show, he finally does. The audience goes nuts. That's the kind of showmanship that doesn't always accompany musicianship, right? They're 2 different skill sets. And it's great when one musician possesses both of them. These are the guys who really, or gals, that really go places. And the fact that this guy is merely a YouTube sensation says a couple of things. One, he's got both skill sets. You watch him.
He's a showman. He's a tremendous showman.
He is. When in that first clip, when he's got his cup of coffee and he's tossing his stick in the air and catching it while he's looking at the camera and not at his sticks, he's got the showmanship. He's got the drummer chops. I almost think that it's kind of a shame how damn good he is, because what band would have him?
Yeah. So
he's going to steal from the lead guitarist and the lead singer.
He's not willing to take the pay cut anyway.
Yeah.
So you you love the drum opening for "Hot for Teacher"?
Oh yeah.
Well, then here you go.
Papa.
got, I look at this, like I said, as a remedial level drummer after a great deal of work. I look at again, the other drummers on this guy, looking at him, and I want to get to the other side of it, because I just talked with Steve about, about the awe side of it. My God, look at that. That's amazing. There's also the despair side, Do you want to address that? Because when you see something like this, you just say to like, for example, I've never seen a tennis player that was that much better than the best tennis player in the world than this guy is better than the best drummer in the world, just in terms of technique. Right now, like I said, Stuart Copeland is a drumming genius, and this guy is a player, not so much I don't want to say a composer exactly, but you get the idea. But there's something magnificent and awe-inspiring and deeply, deeply, deeply depressing about watching somebody so much better than you are at what you do.
It can be. It can be if you look at it this way. It's funny because we hinted at this at our backstage episode, which members can see at BillWhittle.com a week or so ago, because I just finished reading a book called Peak by Robert Poole and Anders Ericsson, or Anders Ericsson and Robert Poole, about human achievement and the effect of deliberate practice on any area that you wish to pursue. And the basic thrust of the book is there's no such thing as a child prodigy. And with very rare exceptions for physical characteristics that would favor, for example, it's hard to be a 300-pound jockey in a horse race as it is hard to be a 4-foot-tall runner in a 100-meter sprint. But beyond that kind of thing, almost anybody who applies principles of deliberate practice, which this guy clearly has, can become excellent. And what they've found over time is that there are no known limits to the capability of humans to improve whatever it is that we are doing more and more, and to a shocking degree for some. I just saw a video today of a 100-meter dash, and Sha'Carri Richardson American runner, was behind, and the woman in front of her was blowing hard. I mean, you could see she was giving it everything she had. Sha'Carri Richardson ran by her like she was standing still over a very short distance. And Sha'Carri didn't even look like she was breathing. I think she was breathing through her nose. And as she approached the finish line, she made this dramatic gesture where she did this, kind of wiped the sweat off her head, the non-existent sweat. She was so much better than that other woman who is the top, one of the top runners in the world, and she just blew right by her. And you can see this over and over again in many pursuits. Now, what's going to happen, though, is within the next generation, there will be dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of runners who have studied Sha'Carri Richardson's methods and training practices and dietary regimens and exercise, and will achieve better things in some cases than she did. Now, that's a very physically demanding kind of thing that can help if you have a certain kind of, length of legs and all that kind of stuff. But in something like drumming, which doesn't require any particular physical build. I remember when I was in college, I was in a band, and before we formed the band, there was this guy in my fraternity house whose name was Eric. And Eric was trying to teach himself how to drum. And the way he taught himself how to drum was he had this drum kit in his dorm room, so he had basically no room to sleep. And he would put headphones on and listen to Rush albums. And he would try to keep up with Neil Peart from Rush. Now, anybody who knows drumming knows that that's a tall task. And he would just practice hour after hour, over and over again. Well, eventually, when I formed a band, I wanted Eric. Not because I thought, I know anything about drumming, but I knew he would put in the work. I knew he would do the practice to make that possible. And when you're seeing that guy holding a cup of coffee and drumming with one hand and staring at the camera while he flips the stick and catches it, what you're seeing there is not only many hours of practice, but very deliberate sorts of practice, drilling down on those tiny little techniques, balancing that stick on the cymbal with the other stick while he was playing it with 3 sticks. That is a skill that takes a very kind of focused attention. And the encouraging part of this for me, it's not despair for me, because I look at that and go, he's a human. He is not, Thor coming down from Olympus or something that has some sort of power that I don't have. In an area that interests me, I can develop like skills if I'm willing to put in the kind of deliberate, focused practice.
I think that's a really great point. They say that you need 10,000 hours to be expert at something. You need to work on it for 10,000 hours of hard work and hard practice. And my estimation about this guy is that he got his 10,000 hours in and said, "Okay, now I can start."
Yeah.
And here's the trap that I think he avoided, and why he is such a breakout, just has such breakout techniques. I get the feeling that at 10,000 hours, this guy was a superb drummer, a really excellent drummer. And he decided at this point, now I've got enough talent and enough skill, enough muscle memory to start doing things that no one's ever done before.
Yeah.
Because once you're good enough to be great, it's almost impossible to say, I'm now back at zero. How many times that guy must have had those sticks falling off of that cymbal before he was able to get that ability to play 3 drumsticks with 2 hands. I have enormous respect for the guy, and not the least for which is that he is. So many of his videos are simply saying, here's how I do what I do. Here's what we do with our left foot. Here's our left foot, right? Do this. Here, now second, we're going to bring in the right hand. And then when the third, we're going to bring in the right foot. And I think I wanted to show him to people because his level of mastery is so spectacular. But as Stephen Scott and as I'm trying to say as well, is that this kind of attitude can be applied to anything. That you can be very, very good at something you love, and if you're an exceptionally gifted character, not talent or anything, if you've just got the character to say, I'm now good enough to be able to play pretty much anywhere I want to, now I can begin to become transcendental at this by continuing to fail and to continue to experiment with things that I just didn't know how to do. Plus, I just think he's wicked cool, and I think he's so cool. We'll give you one more on the way out. For Steve Green and Scott Ott, I'm Bill Whittle. Thanks for joining us. Keep on rocking, and we'll see you next time on Right Angle.
All right, let's see what this is all about. Bro, what was that? How did he do that? He's using 2 sticks over there on that stack. Caught one in midair. I've never seen anything like it. And then just gets rid of it right back into it. This guy is insane. Come on, bro.